I have a very important message regarding covering the housing market and looking at the stats. It is July 16th of 2024, and the market has shifted in a very subtle micro way. As a coach who's working with tons and tons of great listing agents, my wife here in San Diego has multiple listings right now. There is a common thread that I'm hearing from agents. So in this video, we need to uncover what that micro trend is that you need to see. And I'm going to share with you how to do the research and then how to share that with today's seller that you have on the market to make sure that you're not getting fired because you promised them this amazing marketing that was going to cause their home to sell. And here we are, and there's a low number of showings and no offers. Number two, for any listing appointment you're about to go on, we need to get this information in front of those sellers ASAP between now and the end of the year. So this is a very important message right here in the summertime of 2024. So let's dive in and let's get started. If we have not met yet, I'm Patrick Ferry. I'm Tom Ferry's younger brother. I coach with my brother's company, about 68 real estate agents across North America, very successful agents. So I'm very keenly aware of different micro shifts in the marketplace and what causes markets to be on fire, price escalating, be flat, or maybe prices decline. So let's dive in today. If you have any questions about these market stats, just put it down in the comments. All my contact information is in the description as well. Feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to help you out. So let's dive in, everybody. One of my great coaching clients in the city of Austin said to me, hey, I'm seeing a shift in the marketplace. And what is everybody else saying? And it caused me to pause because it was a little early in the spring market. And in most of the marketplaces across the United States, we were seeing good amount of new listings, really good amount of under contract. We're seeing prices starting to continue to rise. We're still seeing some multiple offers and some aggressive multiple offers. A very good spring start to 2024. And 2023 was pretty good, but obviously we know what happened in 2022 versus 2021. So generally speaking, I was pretty pleased with what was happening with the spring market of 2024. That was the first warning. Then I did listen to a podcast in which there were some reports about a certain set of marketplaces where inventory was starting to spike and they were starting to see an increase in price reductions. It's very clear to me which marketplaces were seeing a higher increase of inventory and maybe a slowdown in buyer demand, or a higher increase of inventory even though buyer demand stayed the same, causing slight price reductions, causing a little bit of softness. It made sense. Those were the marketplaces across the United States where there was a lot of excess building, new subdivisions. There was a lot of aggressiveness in spec home building. And those marketplaces had not just the resale, but they also had new properties for sale, new developments. And so we saw that excess inventory versus the buyer demand started to go in the wrong direction. And that created some challenges for us good listing agents who we were experiencing since 2023 and into the beginning of 2024. We saw really good buyer demand on most properties, and we were seeing strong pricing, and sometimes we're getting list price, we're getting over list price, and that was exciting. And then it just started to shift a little bit. Now, these are micro trends is what I'm calling it. So let's use the term micro trend, because as a top pro real estate agent, the reason why a seller trusts you, the reason why your buyers would trust you in your advice on pricing and in the advice on accepting offers is because you've earned a high level of respect and trust at the micro detail level with the market stats. My big concern right now with most of the agents is I've been begging and begging my clients and all my friends out there to do a better job of reporting on the housing market, practicing the skill of looking at the national news, reporting on the national news, and then inviting your friends and clients to look at a couple of the most important stats and trends in the stats that you as a professional are following, you are speaking to both buyers and sellers about, and to be able to speak into what your perceptions are in the marketplace and validate those perceptions by a stat and a trend, validate that trend by a case study, a story of a client that you're working with. And of course, to then separate your advice to both the buyers in this environment. The opportunities are, the challenges are, Mr. Seller, the opportunities are, the challenges are. And of course, to leave, number 4, is a cliffhanger, because the market snapshot of today is not the market snapshot of next 30 days and 60 days, and it's not the market snapshot of the last 30 days. It's not the universal market snapshot for the year. And so, of course, there is trends and concerns and open questions and open loops and things that we need to be tuning in next month so that you can be following me, because I'm going to be following these trends to see how they play out to make sure that I am a real estate advisor that my buyers and my sellers can trust and respect And when I say, this is what my best advice says, this is what I see in the marketplace, and here's my recommendation, when you say that, they have an experience that they should absolutely trust you and follow through. The problem is, most of my friends and clients out there, you have not developed this portfolio of covering the housing market intelligently, and therefore you are experiencing a backlash in trust to your advice. And that is a big problem, my friends. So I'm asking every one of you, now is the time to get back on this on at least a monthly basis as we move through the second half of 2024 and roll into 2025. And if all good things happen in 2025, interest rates come down, we get anywhere near a low 6 or a high 5 in 2025, don't worry, you won't have to cover this topic because the market will go on fire. Okay? But right now is the time. So let's dive in, my friends. Here is the stats that we need to look at immediately, be able to figure out how to pull them out of either your MLS, your InfoSparks. Do you have an association? We have California Association of Realtors with shout out to Jordan Levine, who does an amazing job for us in California, giving us amazing stats. If you just go to car.org. If you are in another state, maybe I know like Houston Association of Realtors has great stats. There's different stat groups within different organizations. Some of you have them, some of you don't. Okay. If you don't have them, you have the MLS. And inside the MLS, there's different stat programs that you need to become more comfortable with. Title reps like Stephen Thomas here in Southern California, or some of you guys have shout out my client in Bend, Oregon. She had I think it was an appraiser who really pays attention to the stats and does a stat report to agents. Some have great mortgage brokers who've been following the markets and providing really good stat reports. Find the people that you want to be following, find your tool that you're going to become pro with, and stop being an amateur about this. Be a pro in covering the marketplace. Watch my old videos on my 4-step framework, which I just articulated, the 4 steps to covering the housing market. Watch that video, of course, and learn more. I'll share that at the end as a video at the end, so you can watch that. I'll put that up on this side for you guys to check that out. Get your stat resource in order, and let's get that figured out. If you have any questions about that, you could put that down in the comments, and I'll do my best to support you with that. Now, because here is what I had to do. I had a great client in the Bay Area. I had a great client in Austin. I had a great client in Bend, Oregon. I had my wife here in San Diego, and I've had people I was just talking to someone in DC, and I've got someone up in Whistler, Vancouver, and I've got someone in Ontario, Canada, and you name it, I've got it. Chicago, all over the entire North America. What I had to do was ask my client, you real estate agent, show me the stats. Here's what I figured out. Here's your assignment. Assignment number 1, I need you to look at new listings for the month of April, May, June of 2024. Then I want you to go back and look at new listings, 2023, April, May, June. Then go to 2022, new listings, April, May, June. Then go to 2021, then go to 2020, go to 2019. Take a look at the volume of new listings in that little window, the spring market, one of the most important market cycles of the year for a real estate agent. Then next, let's take a look at new under contract, April, May, June, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2019. Then I want you to go look at new sold, April, May, June, 2024, 3, 2, 1, 2019. Now, I was looking at these numbers like with a fine-tooth comb with one of my great clients, Edward, in the Bay Area, and it was very difficult to spot it. I was really aggressively looking at these micro differences. And so let's talk, for those of you that don't pay attention too much to some of the macro stuff, the trend that I see today looks like which year going back. Here's a little test. Put it down in the comments right now if you know what trend we look like right now in 2024. Do we look like 2023? Do we look like 2022, 21, 2020, or 2019? So there's the quiz. Now, I'll just give you the answer. We look like 2022 right now. Now, if any of you have been in the industry for a long time, Houston, we have a problem. Because what happened in 2022 in April, May, June? We saw inventory just going like this. Prices were rocketing because under contract was doing this. And then under contract went like that. And then inventory went like that. And then at the end of 2022, why did that happen? Because interest rates finally doubled. They went from 3 to 6, which then what did that do to buyer demand? The total number of buyers dropped out of the marketplace because of the interest rate hike. Now, so then we had a lot of unsold inventory because the buyer demand went away. Under contracts went down, sold went down, inventory kept going up. And then what happened to prices, generally speaking, when under contract goes down, buyer demand goes out, inventory goes up? We saw price declines. Now, did we see in your marketplace, based upon the stats, price declines from June through December of 2022? And the answer in most cases is yes. And that's because of that little trend. Now, what happened in your stats at the beginning of 2023, it actually started moving back in the other direction. Okay, the inventory came off the market to match the low level of buyer demand. The buyers got more comfortable with the 7 and the 6% interest rate. And then we saw less homes come on the market in 2023, and we saw a low amount of buyer demand. And then we just slowly came back and we re-achieved a new peak price for most marketplaces between 2023 and the beginning of 2024. Now, looking at your stats of 2024, April, May, June, new listings, right, under contracts and sold, are you seeing the micro trend that looks like 2022? And for most of you, the answer is yes. The severity, of course, depends on your marketplace. I was talking to a great coaching client, and shout out to Jennifer up in Westchester, New York. And because of her inventory and because of her stronger buyer demand, which is insensitive, the sensitivity of the interest rate in today's market has no negative effect on her buyer demand and on the low supply of homes. She's still seeing strong price increases. So what is your marketplace? Put it down in the comments if you notice a trend, and shout out your city, your county, your state, and the trend that you're looking for. Are you positive? Are you negative? Put it down in the comments for me. Love to see what you guys are all doing out there so I can continue to grow my knowledge with your guys' stats. So my friends, here's the big problem. Most of you guys weren't looking at these micro trends. Most of us are not reporting that either via email, via a housing market report, via social media on a short video, maybe a Facebook video, an Instagram video, maybe a TikTok video. Ideally, in my world, I would want a YouTube video in the perfect world, because most consumers understand that YouTube is an educational platform. It is an entertaining platform, but there's a lot of high value education on YouTube. So having a high value, slightly boring, slightly technical, really into the details, educational video is really well served on YouTube, also on a blog post, maybe even also in LinkedIn, right? Those are the environments in which the consumer would appreciate a very thorough, very technical, really interesting perspective that has insights into things like the economy and the housing market. Where on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, these are a little bit more on the entertainment side of things. They're short form content, lower attention spans. I'm not really there to learn really important information. So just make sure you are being appropriate with the platform and this educational content. And the problem I experience with too many of my coaching clients and friends out in the industry is you say to me, Patrick, people don't care about the market on video or on social. And I tend to agree with you. The truth is they actually do care. But the general attention span is better served in a blog post, better served in a well-written email, better served in a YouTube longer form video for this type of educational content than it would be in a short post on Facebook or Instagram, or a short video on TikTok, or you just doing high level opinion, feeling, etc. Yeah, I agree with you. Find the right platform for this technical information. So my friends, please check your stats now in our weekly seller report. Now is the time to do that. I shot this video back in 2022 during this cycle because I knew all of you real estate agents, you needed a stronger weekly seller report that naturally guided sellers to the price reduction. And in 2022 or 2023, when the prices started going back up and the market started getting hot again, you guys didn't need it. No viewers paid attention to that video in 2023. None of you guys needed it at the beginning of 2024. Now's the time. So I'm going to put that video right here. I'm going to put the video about my housing market right there for you at the very end of this video. Choose wisely and keep going. Now, in the weekly seller report, you are now going to share this new stat report to any properties you have right now that need a price reduction. For any of you that are about to go on a listing appointment, I really want you to have a YouTube video of where you covered this. I want you to have an email that you've sent to your database. I want you to have maybe a report that you can now put into your pre-listing presentation so that your next seller gets an opportunity to read, listen, and to digest what you're explaining before you show up at the dinner table and ask them to price it below what their neighbor just sold for. You guys don't understand. The problem with too many of you, I was just having an amazing conversation with a great client in South Florida. A shout out to Julia Ray. And the problem was she absolutely is sharing the right advice to her sellers about where to price the home in today's market in condos in South Florida. But the problem is it's counterintuitive. She's reading the market really well, but the problem is she's not sharing with that information prior to showing up so that they're digesting it and then just bringing questions to the point of decision at the listing appointment where they're going to choose the right price. We're sharing way too much complex information at the point of decision, which is very stressful to the seller. They list with you guys at these prices, or they force you to price it higher because you caved, but you didn't explain it well enough. They find other evidence that says, well, I think my home will sell higher because this latest comp just sold for X. Why are you asking me to be below that? And that's because we're sharing too much information in one setting. I'd much rather you be sharing that in a pre-listing presentation. I would love it if you guys earned the subscribers and the followers to your YouTube channel, your social media, your email, and you were consistent with this so that they knew that you were on top of these trends, so that at the point in which they were asking you a recommendation, you'd already earned the respect and trust. See, this is the problem. A lot of you guys, you do know the information, you're not well practiced in your explanation, then you're getting to the point of decision and it's really becoming a struggle and a stress point. You didn't earn the right for them to just say, you tell us what to do and we'll do it. So my friends, let's get on with reporting on the housing market right now. And I need you to be on record with that trend. Now, if I was really being at the technical level, there's two things for us to talk about. If you are a buyer in the marketplace right now, I would be very excited for you. And why is that? Because you got more options and a little bit of a micro negotiation ability right now. So, hey, buyers, we should be meeting. We should be discussing this trend. Hey, sellers, you still have the opportunity to sell at a new peak price, but it's sliding in the wrong direction. I would rather you be the first one out so that you can actually get as much of that equity before it potentially moves in the wrong direction. So you're still getting peak price. This is the good news. The bad news is it's moving in the wrong direction. And I am a professional that can help you to get your profits and move on with yourself as competitions continue to rise. And oh, by the way, buyers, what a great opportunity for you. So can we just be honest with everybody about what this micro trend looks like, what the opportunities are for the buyers, what the challenges are for the buyers, what the opportunities are for a seller, what the challenges are for a seller, so that you can earn their respect, earn their trust, and they say to you, we trust you, what do you recommend? And when you make that right recommendation, they take it and then they thank you later. That's what this is all about, my friends. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this topic of covering the housing market. Hey, we do have the Tom Ferry Success Summit coming up at the end of August. I've got a referral link down below. If you haven't signed up, hey, jump down, use my referral link. That supports me. I get a little bit of a commission. I appreciate you supporting me for doing that. But I'm going to be there. My wife's going to be there. A bunch of my clients are going to be there. They're going to have me on stage talking about YouTube on one of the podcast panels. Tom reviewed with me what he's going to do through the whole 3 days. It's going to be incredible. I highly recommend that you get there. In another video, I'll talk about how I approach events now that I've been doing this for 20 years and how do I gain value after 20 years of being at these events for years and years. So I'll share that in a future video. If anything else I can do to help you, all my contact information is down below. Take a look at the video on the weekly seller report and also the video on the framework to covering the housing market. We'll see you on the next one.